Hey family, how you doing? Pastor George here. I'm excited about another How To Tuesday. I got my backup back. I got my buddy Jerome. How you doing, Jerome?
Excellent. How you doing, Pastor George?
Good. Hey, we've been doing a series that's been on investing. I'm going to say it's kids' money and investing, but it's actually been generational wealth by teaching people different areas of finance and everything. Jerome came and taught all about entrepreneurship and doing that. So please check out our playlist. You can still watch that. But today, I just want to talk to you about something that I've seen Jerome do, and I want to have a plan with us involved with this. And that is, I've watched Jerome do a lot with investing in Black businesses and also being intentional about how he spends money. So I'll just have him talk a little bit about that. So first of all, Jerome, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. My name is Jerome Wiley. I'm a former athlete. I worked in the sports field for years, and now I'm a sixth grade teacher. And I appreciate you having me here today.
Right. And so teacher, but he teaches so much with kids and teaches them about being entrepreneurship at all levels and everything. And we'll be doing more from that in the future. But Jerome, I've also noticed, and by the way, I am not stalking you or anything like that. But on Facebook, you always are posting that I went to Hooper Shell, I went to this Black-owned business, and you seem to be very intentional about how you spend your money. So I would like to know first is like, how did you do that? Or first of all, how did you decide to do that? But then the process that you go through to figure it out, because he'll go to a restaurant and say, yeah, this is Black owned. I'm like, I never knew that. Or how did you know? So first of all, what made you decide to start doing this with Black businesses?
Well, I think our community needs to be strengthened. Voting is one way, but the other piece, what we don't focus on, is entrepreneurship and wealth. With wealth comes, you can run your own candidates, and I won't go into all that, but you need money to be able to change certain policies. So my thought was one of the best ways is to patronize Black-owned businesses.
Right. No, sorry, guys, I'm doing my very best not to run, but you guys see, just patronize Black businesses. Also, if you guys notice here at the church, here at Faithful Central, we have what's called a community engagement team. So what we do is we're engaging the community to do things in this area and in doing this. So one is to vote. You guys already know we did everything with the voting. But then now, after we vote, we have to do business. Go ahead, Jerome.
And also, as a small child, I still remember when I had a lemonade stand and only a few people came and bought my lemonade from me. So that kind of stuck with me. I'm like, well, I know everything was presented correctly. Why did I not get more business? Who knows what might have been the reason? But that stuck with me. And I said, well, this Black-owned business, I need to patronize them for a multitude of reasons. These businesses have to pay property. They have to pay property taxes, sales tax revenue. Also, patronizing Black businesses, what it does is it provides jobs to the community. We need jobs, and I think the solution is simple: spend our money in our community.
Go.
Spend money in our community, start there. Spend money in our community, because if we spend money outside of our community, yes, the food might taste good, but it doesn't benefit us economically. If we spend money in our community, again, that brings tax revenue. It brings in property tax revenue, sales tax and property tax revenue. So
right. And then also when you're saying property tax, everybody, just so you're clear, property tax also a large majority of that property tax actually goes in schools. So that's why one of the things we want to make sure we do is we want to have that. That's why you start seeing food deserts where you drive through certain areas of town and there aren't any healthy food options and different things like that. That's all by choices that we can make in that area. Sorry, go ahead, Jerome.
And also, I know you had mentioned, I don't know why I chose to patronize Black businesses as well, or how I'm able to do that. And I think anything that you're intentional with, I don't care if it's investing, if you have an interest in investing, things will come your way, things you didn't even recognize and realize. So because I was intentional and I'm very persistent with this, people will say, well, Jerome, did you know there's a Black-owned bakery? Like I just went to 27th Street Bakery for my birthday's today. I got a cake from 27th Street Bakery, right. Or One United Bank, or Hooper Shell, or the Grocery Warehouse outlet, where you have 3 African Americans that own them, one in Inglewood, one in Long Beach, and the others in Compton. Right. So the more you patronize businesses and talk to the entrepreneurs, which I do, patronize businesses and talk to the entrepreneurs, which I do, you'll be surprised. I think as a community, we need to have those sort of conversations and just say, hey, you know what? I like this Black business I went to. You should try this out as well. So
right. So also, you guys, so first of all, what he's doing, he's going to the businesses. I'm holding up 3 fingers. He's going to the businesses, but also he's very intentional. That's the first one I'm saying. Intentional means like we're looking for that. So everybody, let's write down. I'm sorry, don't write nothing down because you guys are. I was told by social media that ain't nobody write nothing. Okay, type down all the places that you go. Like in other words, like you go to a dry cleaner, you go here, you go there, you get gas, you get this. You know, all the places that you go. And then now let's look at what places we have, like who does your taxes, who does that. And also you should have a African American financial advisor. You know, you should have an African American person that is financial advisor. You should have that. Did I tell you should have an African American? All right. So anyway, if you want to have someone that does that, we have real estate agents, loan officers, like just start looking at people that are doing that. Also something, I'm just giving you guys a little preview. Also next year, we're actually going to be having something. We already have this. We're also with jobs. We have an area that helps people get jobs. And then secondly is we're going to have a business directory. And it's coming in the first quarter. So that's something that we're also going to be able to talk to you about. But we want you to utilize it and that you begin to work together and give people a chance. So the first thing you said was, you said that you're intentional. Then you said you go there. Then you talk to them. Also, Jerome left something out that he does, which is actually not better than all 3. The number one thing he does is Jerome walks in out of the I'm telling you, by the way, I'm not a stalker. He walks out of the restaurant, turns around, and shoots a picture of him. How do I explain it? You walk out the front door, and then he shoots a picture, a selfie with the name of the business on there. Hey, Jerome, so you know what? So I know everybody, can everybody say happy birthday? Let's all say happy birthday to Jerome. Let me tell you what I'm going to do with Jerome. By the way, I'm sorry, he was doing that when it was legal too. Now, I guess you're doing takeout. You're going to tell me what you're doing now because now you can't do that. Now you can't do what you did before. But there's a restaurant that you go to it's Black people, but it's Chinese food. And he keeps showing pictures of it. And the first time he showed a picture of it, I was traveling somewhere and I was like, oh man, I can't go. But me and you got to go down to that place. But you show, tell us what you do. Now you shoot the picture back. He's shooting a selfie, but it's like he's with a person, but he's actually just showing the business and then saying what he got. So I'm going to say you were hyping him up. You were. So you were like doing like a little infomercial for him. And I think that's really good. But I'm sorry, you can tell me about how you decide to start doing that and doing that.
And again, what I usually do is I go to a business. I try to take a picture of the owner, definitely take a picture of the signage, place their address, their phone number. I'll give my opinion.
They know you're doing that too.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Because when I go in, I tell them, I said, I want to see your business grow. I hope you have 2 Chinese restaurants. So that's my intention. So and who's going to say no to that?
But but it's true. I mean, and the thing is, and you guys know that on Yelp now, I think you can push see if it's Black. Like I found that like it does that, but also hype them. Now we've already told you this is that during the pandemic that you still go to the places. If someone does your hair, still go there. And now if they say it's illegal, you can't go there. Send them send them some money so that they're doing it. Okay, I said that. I'm going to say this at the end, but I'm sorry, I have to say it now. You guys, we're waiting on the government to give people a stimulus package. Okay, now, Jerome, just pardon me, sorry. Y'all, we already did the Paycheck Protection Program. We already talked about that stuff in June, right? I'm sorry, we talked about stuff when it came out. That money ran out in June, okay? They are closing restaurants right now, okay? And all this stuff. They told everybody Thanksgiving, don't do nothing. All right, Christmas, they're telling you don't do nothing, okay? But so we have to create our own stimulus package. When Jerome opened up, the first sentence he said, and hey, everybody, pat me on the back. I didn't interrupt him too many times today, did I? I'm sorry, I get excited when you guys learn. But the first sentence that he said that we need to spend money in our own community. Do you understand what that is? If you take your dollars and you send them to this place, you're actually creating your own stimulus package if everybody does it. I do a call for a financial advisor call. I do a call with all our clients or prospective clients about the markets and investing and everything. And at the end of every call, we give away, we have a dinner where we buy someone dinner, but we do it through Uber Eats. So what we're doing is we're stimulating. I tell them, you have to use a local business. And so many people are saying they're Black owned businesses or different areas, and they're doing the same thing and they're investing. And we're walking through it. So we're doing that exact same thing. But also, I also would like to just define to everybody what a Black owned business is. And this will do it. I'm sorry, I'll ask you, what do you think a Black owned business is?
To me, a Black owned business is the business is owned outright. It's owned outright by African Americans. Now, there's some businesses I patronize that it might be a group. Maybe it's another ethnicity and African American. I still will patronize. I have kind of a hierarchy of how I patronize. 100%, they get the most. Partial, they get next, and then someone who may hire African Americans, it may not be Black owned.
Gotcha. Cool.
So I do that.
Gotcha. Okay, everybody. So what he just said. Okay, gotcha. First of all, is a Black owned business. The second one he said is a group. So there's something called an LLC, limited liability corporation, where they may have 3 or 4 owners, and one of them may be African American, a minority or majority owner. And the third one is this: a business that is not owned by African Americans, but they're invested in the community, and they're hiring Black people, and they're working with the community to do things. And there are businesses we have that are doing that. And that'd be the same as if we do, because we want to do that. Because actually, when we open a business, we actually want to have Black clients, but this is the only thing. We actually want to have all clients. So you want to make sure that you're invested in the communities, oh my gosh, that you're invested in. Please just type in the chat. That makes sense. Instead of doing the thing now before where you say, I'm only going to deal with Black people, I'm only going to do this, I'm only going to, but in order for us to expand and grow, we first have to begin to invest in our own business, but then also people that like there are certain businesses where they may be so capital and they may be in a position where it may be tough for someone just to start off. So they bring in partners, but you will still want to support them. And then support also businesses that are invested in the community. So that's very important. But also, is there anything else? So those are the things that I see that you're doing. But what are some things you would tell people that for them to start to do some of the similar things that you're doing? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, take baby steps. What is something that you can go intentionally that you know you need to buy? And start with that first Black business. Talk to your family members, have a family discussion. Like I do with my brother, his family, relatives. I talk about people throughout the country about this. So that's something you can do. Also, what I do is I actually track my spending. So I know what percentage of my spending, like gas, is 100% to Hooper Shell.
Right.
Last month, it was 49% to groceries. Also, I just found a Black-owned auto repair shop. It's in Inglewood. It's called Dr. Car Fix. It's a father and son. So
how'd you find that? How did you figure it out?
Someone called me because they know I'm intentional. They said, Jerome, people will call me and send me stuff all the time.
Right.
You need this.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt him right now and say something he said last week. He said, and this is true, and I've told everybody this: if you're intentional and people know that's what you're about, then that's how you're going to find out. Like we've told everybody this. Do you guys want to learn how to do well in investing? Start thinking about it and start hanging around people that are investing. Not doing anything isn't going to work. Hey, would you like to be in really good shape physically and health-wise? Hang around people that are in shape and eat what they eat and do what they do. It's called being intentional. Now everybody's at home. There's all these workouts, Peloton, and all these workouts people doing. They said on YouTube, there are people that just sit home watching people work out, like watching them. Like that's not really what we're talking about. You actually got to get up, sweat got to come from the brow. Okay, so but intentional. But you see that's a prime example. See, people, we don't know these because we aren't looking for them. So I started when I patronize and I'm doing it. I just want to let everybody know I'm right off and through here. And let me know where you guys are at. Are you guys at a scale of, give yourself a number between 1 and 10. But by the way, he's a 10. Okay. So like, I'm like a 6. I'll give myself a strong 7 because, and just in some of them, it's just because of speed and time. But I am really learning about this. And I want us to all have a plan, like how we had a voting plan. We had a plan to how we were going to vote. And we said, tell your family members, do this. That's what he just said. Your family members, tell your family members about these places. Where you got your birthday cake, the different things where you're finding and all these things is start to be intentional in those areas. So I'm sorry. But I'll let you finish though. Some things you would tell people for them to be to get started on this path of doing this. So everyone, you're gonna have a plan that you're gonna write. Oh, sorry, don't write down nothing. Type down of what you're going to do. Go ahead, Jerome.
And then I think if we just talk to people in the community, a lot of us know other entrepreneurs. When I went to 27th Street Bakery, one of the owners, she ran off a list of Black businesses that she knows. Matter of fact, she sells her pies in Ladera Rouse. And I've seen it there before.
Oh my gosh. Those are there. Okay. I'm sorry.
So, right. So we don't have the marketing budget to do this. We don't have money to advertise on television. So we have to do it by word of mouth until, I don't know, maybe this is a business opportunity for someone to put something together. I don't know.
That's not true. That's not true. Now, everybody have to make an announcement. The world's flat now. Now, since everybody's home in the pandemic, ain't nobody watching TV anyway. Everyone's watching on things. So that's so. I know Recycling Black Dollars is an organization I used to work with a long time ago with Mr. Mohammed and doing them, and we have made an effort. But then, this is something that we may look at entrepreneurship wise but having a Facebook page, a LinkedIn, using social media to connect everybody is not, and there's other technologies where this can be done together, that we can do this. But I see how what you're saying. So she had a whole list, saying the ones and doing it, because I'm letting everybody know now, and I'm kicking it back over to you, is this is a problem. And whatever level, you see, everyone's at a different level. Every person, you're at a different level. Struggling and sinking, that means you have the inability to pay your current bills. Steady, you have just enough to pay your bills. Solid means you're doing pretty good, but if and you've worked somewhere for a while. Then the surplus, extra money, highest level service, where you're not concerned with finances. Everybody during a pandemic or during a time like this goes down a level. The challenge is, the longer this goes, it may go down 2 levels, because small businesses are really struggling. You're hearing about how Costco, Target, and Walmart are doing good. Just so you know, June, Target made an announcement they made more money than they've ever made in doing this. But the problem is, we don't want them to be the only retailers that are left. So we want to help small businesses. You guys see how you have Black Friday, Small Business Monday, all that. No, but you need to be able to support these businesses and be intentional about it. I'm sorry, last part, I want to let you be able to finish, and then.
But also what we need to do is, again, I was talking about how family members need to discuss this, but it's also important to take children in, because one of the owners of Hooper Shell, I talked with her. She said, I appreciate you patronizing. I said, no, I appreciate you being a Black business owner and children coming to this business. I hope you tell them that you're the owner, because they can see that anything is possible. That's why I think it's so important to have Black entrepreneurs, especially in our community.
Wow. Okay. And then last thing, and there's different organizations we work with that we're doing that, is I used to always wear, when people used to always wear suits, I used to work with the Urban League and also with Faithful, and this also was true at Faithful Central as well, is whenever we teach kids investing, sometimes parents would bring their kids because they said, I want my kids to see a Black man talking to them about finances. Because actually a long time ago when I was doing this, a woman said that usually whenever I saw a Black man that was taller, he was always either an athlete or an entertainer. They hadn't seen Black professional, men doing things, and they would come down and do that. But I understand that of being a role model and us working together. So we will do that. So I just want to say this last parting thing about this is everything that Jerome said. Then I want to ask him another question. It's totally unrelated to this. Is that we want to start having a plan of how you're going to patronize and how you're going to work with businesses next year. In other words, hey, so what products and services do you use? Who do you use now? And then plugging in. And then we said this also, if we had Kevin Super, when there's Black Business Month doing this, is that we sat down and we said, hey, we're gonna do this, but we don't want to just do that for a month. Just like on Valentine's Day, you just don't be nice for one day. We're all year round that we're going to be able to do that and help support businesses that are Black businesses, but then also as we're working together, then they're also supporting and they're building, because when you also support Black businesses, you're also supporting the community and doing that. All right, cool. If there's anything else you want to add to that, let me know. If not, I want to ask you a totally different question. So also, changing topics here. And this does deal with Black businesses, because also one of the things we're starting to hear is a lot of things about in the housing market and everything. So Jerome comes to a lot of my investing. He comes to my seminars on the church. He's already laughing. and the ones that I also teach in my private business about this. And I'm just going to tell you the rumors of what I hear all the time. So what we're hearing is we're saying, oh, Inglewood or these areas are all there's gentrification and there's no Black people, there's no the home ownership, and we want to do this. That is coupled with that whenever there's a house sold, that you're not seeing a lot of African Americans even go out there, like in Ladera, these other areas, that the Black real estate agents or your people tell me that not even a person of color even comes to the open house. Coupled with number 3, and then I'm going to ask you a question. And these are just observations. You guys let me know if you guys have anything. So we're going to talk about real estate right now. Is this? I've heard that there's all these where you can't evict people, moratoriums and different things, and those will all be up in January, and that the real estate market is going to crash in sometime around March through June. So now in the chat, let us know. Have you heard first? Have you heard that Inglewood, there's a lot of gentrification and that Blacks people need to own more homes, or just people need to own more homes there in the community because in the different areas? And I just want to address this is that when we do our surveys, is that 68% of the people, almost 70% of the people that live in Inglewood are renters. So then it's coming out and saying rent control and all these things, and and passing all these bills. So I'll start with that. Is this? What do you think is one of the reasons why there's not a higher home ownership rate among African Americans?
We're not intentional, because I still remember a conversation we had, George, back in 2009, and you said the Renaissance. No, it was Carlton Square. Property was going for $155,000.
$155,000. I was doing
Now, there's a new development in Inglewood right across from St. Mary's High School. That's over $1 million. So
Daniel Freeman.
Yep. So I think, and then people are always saying, well, the price is high. Each year, well, the price is a little too high. At a certain point, you're going to be priced out of the market. So I think what people need to do is be more intentional, focus on ownership. California, one thing about California, we're not building any more land.
Right.
Prices are only have one way to go, my personal opinion, but up. And I think now what families need to do is, if you can't afford it as an individual, you should maybe come together as a family and buy it.
Gotcha. So here, let me break back down what he said earlier. So first of all, what he's saying is that you saw the areas when Carlton Square, I told everybody, go over there and buy a home in Inglewood. Nobody wants to live in Inglewood. I said, now when Faithful Central owned the Forum, they said they were going to invest $50 million into the Forum. They invested, the group that owned it before, over $110 million into that property. They sold it to Steve Ballmer for over $400 million. So you guys understand, they made over a couple $100 million on that. And Carlton Square had houses for $150,000. Currently, they're selling for about, those same ones are selling for about 500 and something now, like 5 1/4, 5 1/2. And they're in that area. So someone can appreciate that same way. So actually, I want to translate something else you said. If the first way to get into a home is this, you need to get in where you fit in. You'll say, I don't want to live in a condominium. You may need to start off in a condominium. You need to start off somewhere, because it's much easier to start off somewhere and then go up than it is to just keep waiting for something to happen. Which brings me to my second point is everyone says because all the rent moratoriums are going to come up in January, and then everyone's going to owe all this money and all the renters are going to get kicked out, and then people are going to lose their homes and people are going to lose rental properties, which I'm sorry, I'll let you know. So what do you think about that? First of all, have you heard that?
I've definitely heard that. Just what I think is there's too much money out here. And what I mean by that is there's pension funds, there's hedge funds, there's sovereign wealth funds. All that really means is there's a bunch of people who are wealthy. They pool their resources. They're ready to buy whatever becomes available because we're not building any new stock here in California. There's not new homes being built.
Right. And also, you guys, real quick, if you're in, I'm using Dallas, Texas, just because we're doing it, and I can use anywhere else you'd like to use. I can say Chicago. I can say some areas of Florida, and doing it. But I'm starting with Dallas, Texas. If a home is $130,000, they can always just build out further. If the house go up to 150, they'll just go out and say, I can build another house for 110. A 2x4 costs this. This is how much it costs to build. And let's build out another track. In California, there is an ocean right out here. There's an ocean. There are mountains. And then there's a desert. So remember the IE start going that way. There's nowhere in Topanga Canyon. There's nowhere in Malibu. Those houses are right up on the cliff. Palos Verdes, all the way down to San Diego. They can't build any more houses. Over there, Daniel Freeman, if you wish to live over there, that's absolutely fine. But those houses so close, you could pull your little shade down. You can reach out your window. I could reach out here if we were there, and we could be looking at each other face to face. You'd be brushing your teeth. I'd be looking right at you. So you understand that we need to. I'm going to tell you my advice to someone is to get started and to look at how you would just get started, get approved, find out what you can do. And your place may not be the very best out first, but it also can improve over time. You had said that they may want to pull together with family members, which is right now, there's never been more of a time to do that. If you knew how many people I know that now their whole family lives with them, like in other words, their kids had lived on their own, but then because of this pandemic, that people had moved back together. When your kids move out or someone in your family member moves out, they may want to move into a property that they own. Because if they're not paying rent and they're doing things, they should be able to save that money and pool it and be able to buy something. So if you look at a monopoly board, one of the things is that everyone wants to be at Park Place, but you don't have to start. If I'm playing against you, I ain't even worried about that. You know where I'm buying? Where I land. When you end up losing when we play, these are one of the last, this is when I know the game is over, when you make this statement to me. George, if I run, no matter what I roll, I have to pay you.
That's
George,
true.
if I roll a 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, my little shoe is going to be paying you. And usually if I'm the banker, and then by the way, I don't accept loans, by the way, either. I don't do loans. So you got to sell your property, do whatever you got to do. The prices, because I don't do loans. This is we play Monopoly. We use some fake money just like in the real world. But anyway, we have to get in where we fit in, and we have to utilize those, and we have to be intentional. Anything else about home ownership or just about money and about doing that you also would like to add to what we said as far as like with Monopoly or how we're doing things and it would be good for owners to do that you see how we talk about during our classes that would be helpful for people?
Well, just to become an owner, you have to, I know you mentioned this in your book, you have to have, first thing you have to have is a budget.
Right.
And you have to be careful of your spending. And if you aren't, I mean, one thing I've learned in life is if you don't have a plan, someone has a plan for you. Right. And an example of that is on Crenshaw Boulevard, 371 square feet is renting for $1,800 a month.
Wow.
So,
right.
371 square feet. Matter of fact, there's another complex in Culver City, 1,200 units. Entry level is 3,100. Max is 17,000 a month. So
right, that's in Culver City. Right, we've seen that. So again, everybody don't throw nothing in the stream. But when they had to vote for rent control or do all this stuff, everybody, I'm not doing those acts because that doesn't do anything. If we have it, they wrote on that, they had to go right on that's going to help homelessness. Everybody, the problem is there's not enough homes, not rent control. Controlling something don't matter. If everybody wants to eat something, there's only 3 grapes sitting there. Controlling the 3 grapes ain't gonna do nothing. You got to get more food. You got to get more grapes. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to do that. So one of the things is, if everybody wants to fix, you know how you fix rent control? Buy a house. Then what your mortgage is, you control that. Then interest rates right now are at all-time lows. I don't know how they can get any lower than what they are. The Federal Reserve has them at 0. And that's not what the loan rate is, but that's what their rate is. And they said they're going to keep it like that for years. So you want to be able to get a home and then be able to pay it off. And then that's the ultimate in rent control. So just letting you know, if you have a home and you don't pay a mortgage on it a month, that's free and clear cash flow. Oh my God, I get excited just thinking about that. Because what happens is then you're in control. But waiting on the government to do something, that's what we talk about later on with stimulus packages. You be the stimulus package. You buy the home. And we pay it off. And we do that by being financially, you do that by doing that financially. Okay? All right, everybody, we're going to come back with some parting comments. But right now, we want to give out a prize. Right now, if you could type in the chat a number between 1 and 100. And we'd like to give out a prize. The prize is, there's a book, it's called BAM, The Wealth Cycle. It shows you how to build and create wealth and then how to keep it. So no matter what level you're at, struggling, sinking, steady, solid, surplus, surface. It shows you how to get to the next level. Shows you how to budget, how to get out of debt, how to invest, how to run a business. I used to teach in person over 180 seminars a year, speaking engagements. And then now this book encapsulates all of that financial data to help you get to the next level. And by the way, this book is $20. You can get it on Amazon.com, and you can do that. Also, I have another book. It's called Set for Life. And bam, I'm quick with it today, ain't I? Anyway, Set for Life shows you how to achieve any goal in 90 days. I'm going to give out one of these 2 books to somebody. So if you just type in, and these are $20 on Amazon if you'd like to get them, but I'm going to give out one today to a winner for the number that we selected. And while we're doing that, you put down a number between 1 and 100. Oh yeah, someone asked me one day, can I put down 250? Oh, you sure can. But the number we have is between 1 and 100. So we want to do that and bless you with that. And as we come in here into this Christmas time and everything like that, and what we're doing, we just want to make sure we got a little gift for you. Okay. All right. So Jerome, are there any other comments that you want to make about someone that was either buying a house or also just being intentional, or anything else that you'd like to say to our people, our community?
Yeah, just make sure that you set a plan. Make sure you're have a budget. Also, make sure you're pre-qualified so you can understand how much you can qualify for. That'll give you an opportunity to look for that community. Also, I can't stress this much more. If you can't afford something, partner with someone, family member preferably, and if you can buy together. Also, in my community, I noticed they're tearing down homes and building units, which means there's one less house available. So I agree with you about rent control. There's less homes to buy, not more. So if there's less stock, you might want to go and try to buy something as soon as you can. So that's pretty much what I have to say about homeownership.
All right. Well, I conclude. Jerome, you got to come back, because I'm making the statement I made last time. I took all I can stand. I can't stand no more. First thing he said about getting qualified. Everybody, first thing we're going to do in January is get qualified to buy a home. A famous Negro poet once said, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I always, there's a person who will remain nameless on our social media team, Brandy. She always says, George, you buy houses like people buy hamburgers. Like one day I was talking to her, I said, oh, hey, guess what? This unit came available in Madeira. I'm going to buy this property this week. You know what I mean? Like, and then our team starts working on it. And then you've been to several properties. You've been to several of my properties, right?
Yep, the one on Inglewood across the street from.
Yeah, got you. Okay, all right. Okay, so he's been the one. Yeah, the one in Inglewood. Okay, very close to the Forum, right? Okay, gotcha. So you've been to my properties, and so what I do is, just so you guys know, and Jerome, I have you come back and we'll get a little deeper in this, is that When I buy the properties, if you notice, I bring them in and I have you look at them because they're usually in horrible. The worst shape they're in, oh my gosh, the worse the better. Oh, I love it. Type that in the chat if you like that. The worse the better, because I know I'm going to design it. And then I walk in and then I have people do this. And I can only bring, I think the numbers were, that's before COVID, 15 people at a time, because otherwise you bring more people out, they think you're having a party or something. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, I brought in 15 people at a time and I said, now, and I said this to them, who here would buy this? And I always get 5 or 6 people that I couldn't buy it. This dude, one dude came and said, oh, my wife wouldn't even come in here. And I said, no, and I show them what it's like in the thing. And then I'll show them there's no lights in here. There's thing, it's never been renovated, the whole thing. And I say, okay, but this is the rule. After church, you have to come here every Sunday for a month. Then they came in, water damaged floors. Then I come in, no floors. And you remember I bring my kids in to these. And my daughter goes like this, it stinks in here. I said, oh, honey, this is what it smells like when a 20-year-old floor has been taken up. Yeah, this is like glue. Yeah, the whole bit. Then I float it. Then we bring it back in. And obviously now we run vinyl because it's waterproof. And we run it through the whole house. So what we do is we show people how to invest and how to do that. But the first is you got to be qualified. Then we have to set our expectations. Like, I know we want an $800,000 house, but if we qualify for $800,000, we're probably going to buy something under that so that we can have mortgage, so we can pay the property off quicker. But we probably would buy something much less. I'm saying 600 and fix it up to a property that's 800, but it'll be worth almost 900 or $1 million. Oh, George, don't talk about this stuff. You'll get excited. You'll be here for like 5 hours. But I'm saying what he said is that we want to make sure that we have a plan, we get qualified, and then also be prepared to bring in a family member or another person, because all these units, I'm telling you right now, can you just raise your hand in the chat or type in the chat if you and another person could buy a home? Because I said this to everybody, Jerome, and I'll pull them. I'll do it. And let me know if you guys would like to do a seminar on this. But in Inglewood, there were homes that were 900 square foot. Don't hang up. Everybody around the country, watch what I'm about. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. There are properties that were 900 square foot homes, and they were $400,000. And I was telling people to buy them. George, why'd you do that? They were on 6,000 square foot lots, Jerome.
Wow.
I was saying, no, knock this thing down. Spend 300. And then look, I said, first of all, put down rugs and just stay there for a year. Then refinance the home. I said when these like 250 and 300. Then refinance the home and start building another big home on the back, or an ADU, build another whole unit, and then sell it for $1 million. Or you and the other person, because you have a partner, switch to another property and keep doing, and then buy a duplex, and then just keep playing Monopoly, keep doing it. We will walk through that. First, type in the chat if you'd like to do those classes. Me and Danette did one called Real Estate. We also teach those classes. But now, if you guys, just by the way, do the homework. Go look real estate up in Inglewood. It always says this. It's near the SoFi Stadium. And they put an extra $150,000 on it. They'll say it's near and they say entertainment center. I'm like, there ain't no entertainment there right now. But just saying, they're talking about the future and all things are going to happen around the forum. We'll see the forum SoFi. All right. So everybody, I want to thank our winner that has been selected and doing that. So now we're going to close in prayer, but I just want to say this before we close in prayer. We thank you so much for tuning in. You've been tuning in all year, and we appreciate everyone that's been doing that. We talked about business today. We talked about real estate, and we have a whole bunch in store for 2021, and we look forward to sharing it with you. Let's close in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for all the opportunities you bless us with, Lord. Lord, thank you every day for giving us life, and that abundantly. We thank you for that. Lord, as we're coming into the end of the year, Lord, we come thankful, but we want to finish this year strong, Lord. So we put you first in every area of our lives, Lord, and we pray every day that you draw us closer and that we grow to be the people you'd have us to be, loving people, caring people, and sharing people. Lord, we say this prayer in the name of Jesus, and all the blessed people of God said, amen. Can I have an amen? Let's give the Lord a hand of praise. All right. So, hey, we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.